Welcome to the Accounting Technology Lab, sponsored by CPA Practice Advisor, with your hosts, Randy Johnston and Brian Tankersley.
Welcome to the Accounting Technology Lab. Brian and I would like to speak to you today about a reporting tool called Syft Analytics. That's spelled with a Y. Syft Analytics. Now, Syft was founded in 2018. They really started as a solution to replace manual Excel models, trying to be more efficient. They were based in South Africa in their start. So you'll see that they have a little bit more of a global bent as they go. The company offers a variety of tools for financial reports, dashboards, visualizations, and KPI analysis. And they really are trying to break more into the forecasting area. Now, the founders, Matt Stefanofu, and I'll have trouble with the names because they're South African, Eleftherios Kirazenis and Vangelis Kirazenis. Okay, so there were two co-founders and a chief product officer, but you can tell they're somewhat related. These guys have built a pretty bloody impressive product. They are currently connected to about 150,000 entities. You don't have to listen to us, though. You can actually try this in a 14-day trial if you choose. But what Brian and I would like to do is to take you through the basic attributes of Syft and, help you understand why it is worthy of being considered as a reporting tool. Now, the last thing I want to say before I ask you, Brian, to explain some of this, both of us have had the privilege of speaking at Scaling New Heights, and a lot of the Scaling New Heights attendees are using QuickBooks, and many are using Xero and Zoho nowadays. And, if you think back, we've been teaching firms to do client accounting services for 25, pushing 30 years at this point. Part of the issue is if you're trying to build an effective CAS or advisory service, it's hard to get your toolkit right. And as you and I both know, my last count was I'm tracking 92 different QuickBooks reporting products alone. So how can our listeners pick the right product? And earlier this week, one of the Scaling New Heights people said, Randy, in 2025, we'd really like you to do a session on reporting tools. And it's like, oh my, as my friend George Takei would say, oh my, that's a big request. So I've been thinking about that request, but then it dawned on me that for our listeners here on the Accounting Technology Lab, Syft made some sense to discuss. So what would you think our listeners should know about Syft?
Well, it's a tool that will do both online reporting. So and we've talked about other tools that will deliver reports online, but this will do reports either in paper or it'll let folks access them through a portal. You can do collaboration, so you can ask questions on things. And again, again, think of it like a kind of like a Facebook for financial information. So you have graphs, financials, forecast, budgets, other pieces like that in here. You can, again, export them to PDF, Excel, or Word if you want to. You can white label it, so you can actually set up your own look and feel and make the financials look the way you want them to, as opposed to the way they look. Yet again, that's a big problem a lot of people have with QuickBooks, is that it does things at one level, and if you don't like that level, well, you got to click a lot. As we're looking at this, though, it does it in addition to doing financials, it'll do dashboards, it'll do receivables and long-term forecasting. It will do cash flow forecasting and also give you insights on customers and products. Now, the thing about this is that it does do consolidations, and so it will do consolidations for different tools, QuickBooks Online, Xero, and again, and I think they've got one or two others that they integrate with. But the idea is that you can do the eliminations. You can again go through and again post your different purchase accounting things and again those different pieces. There's no fixed limit on how many things you can consolidate. And again, you can consolidate for things out of Xero, QuickBooks Online, They list Sage Accounting. I'm assuming this is Sage Intact. Books Desktop, MYOB Exact, FreshBooks, a free agents tool used quite commonly in the UK, Acumatica, NetSuite, and again Sage Intacct. So it'll also support trial balance uploads in Excel and other formats as well.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's
as you were
there's a
trying
lot.
to, there's a lot. As you were trying to name all those products, Brian, there are products that you didn't name that are included, the MYOBs, the exacts, the Acumaticas. So, I'm looking at this as a reporting tool that can connect to a wide variety of systems that you may choose to use in your CAS practice, or your clients may be using. Shopify and Gusto. And of course, they, like many of these products, they've done the Zapier connections as well. So the integrations are interesting to start off. But the other thing that is absolutely available in this platform, which we recommend people always look for when they're acquiring new entities or new products, is they have API access. So the APIs are very powerful and very comprehensive along the way. So you're correct. Lots of different reporting, lots of consolidations, lots of integrations. And, as it turns out, the financial statements are pretty straightforward. I think because of their South African roots, they've done a lot of IFRS and GAAP, so they can handle both. And I think their goal is to continue to expand their ledger integration footprint so they can continue to expand their financial reporting along the way. Now, this uh, system also does version control for disclosures and financial statements. They work with flexible time periods. For example, they have not-for-profit reporting spanning years and so forth. Uh, and there's many other things that are, very sophisticated for this class of product. So, one other thing that a lot of accountants tend to use is that you can link any of the data, financial data, to Excel or Google Sheets. So, they're basically playing those two worlds along the way. And certainly that is helpful. But there is another review facility that I would call out. Again, I usually turn to you when I'm thinking about, audit and fraud, because you just seem to have good insights in that area. But, the product claims to, assist with um, checking your own data for errors, but also for fraud detection. So, any particular call outs that you might have in this area, Brian?
You know, it will go through and identify overdue receivables and payables. It will look for duplicates. It will look for things that are dormant, and it will try to clean up those things. You can do sales tax, VAT, GST reports and reviews off of here. And again, the key things here is that it's going through and it's looking for doing this anomaly detection, looking for things where you can actually go through and adjust the weighting of those factors and other things. But it will go through and again and do things like allocations. So you got a lot of interesting things again that can be done with this tool.
Yeah, so I'm actually laughing as you're trying to explain that to me, because one of my original partners used to say we'd look for the dogs and the cats in the database, and I appreciate your sound effects with the dogs marking. So that was a nice little ad there, Dad.
Yeah, well, it's when you got five dogs, especially with those two puppies we just got, they love to play, and I wondered if you could hear it. So I'm
Well,
sorry that you could.
it's actually all good. It's the dogs and the cats and the financials forever now. So, well, let's take a look though over at the pricing of this product, because a lot of these Accounting Technology Lab podcasts, we close up with the pricing piece. And this vendor has multiple levels of pricing, standard at $19 a month, plus at $39, advanced at $79, and scale at $119. And what I'd like for our listeners to consider is some of the features that are included in various programs. Now, they've done a nice job on comparing their key features on their plans on their pricing page. For example, all levels of product include cloud accounting, spreadsheets, and consolidations, but the ERP products are only available in their scale, their $119 product. But if you continue,
And there's an additional $4.99 a month, it looks like.
exactly. So there's going to be some, things that you'll pay more for, but fundamentally, a whole lot of features are included across all the platforms. So let's just call out one that's not. The style library and being able to put themes. That's not in the standard offering at 19. But if you go to the plus offering, you get it, and it's in all the others. And as we had already called out the Iverson gap and the AI data review and the spreadsheet link, those are all additional charges at $125 a month to add those features. They are included in the scale option, though, on this product. So consolidations is really what separates most of these different levels of platform for this vendor. You can do consolidation across unlimited entities and do eliminations in the standard product. But if you're going to deal with currency or budgets and forecasts, disposals and so forth, you're going to have to get up into the plus. And if you're going to do division segmentation, you're going to have to be in advanced and so forth. But again, very impressive how much is included in the base products. I think maybe the last area I might have you call out, Brian, is the analytics section, because here, transaction level drill down and business valuations and KPI and ratio analysis are in the standard product, but they are not, but there are additional features not included in Plus.
Yeah.
So
So in the Plus product, that adds customer behavior and product and subscription analytics. And then when you move up to advanced, you get dynamic ledger tables, conditional formatting, and industry benchmarking. The AI, again, is priced on a per entity basis at $9 per entity per month. And the scale version actually includes 10 entities with it. They have a wide range of support options, including onboarding classes and implementation support. They also have single sign-on integrations and again SOC 2 GDPR reports. And again, you can even set up your own hosted domain or subdomain to handle this if you white label. But again,
and
that's at the higher level.
and your own dedicated server. So if you are, of the type that you want to keep everything in-house, that is also a feature that this product has. So you can hear, listen to Brian and I just cover things at a high level with you on this product. It's a very interesting reporting product. It's not your father's Oldsmobile, as we might say. So, I don't know whether to really call this a mid-market reporting product or an entry-level product. We do know that a lot of the big firms, Grant Thornton and BDO and so forth, and PKF and others are using the product. But we also know that at the price point that it is, you're not really talking tons of dollars if you can use the standard or the plus features inside the platform. So, Brian, I wanted our listeners to at least be aware of Syft. I realized just how many reporting products that you and I probably need to cycle back through and say, oh, here's another one. Oh, here's another one. We've done that early in the life of the technology lab, but there's been so many developments because of AI, because of APIs, because of Zapier integrations, and so forth. But
Yeah, and
this looks like a
this
real deal.
yeah, this transition to online reporting, I think, is a important one for firms to make, just because it's. I think as we get into advisory, the need for real-time data and the need for real-time financial reporting and transaction reporting, I think, is critical. And so this moving to online reporting is a very important thing that you need to be looking at for your CAS stack. Even if you're not going to do the transaction processing in real time, throughout the month, as opposed to in a batch at the end of the month, it's still important to get this going so that you can again effectively do a better job with people, and do a better job with collaborating with people. And again, this gives you kind of a portal that will let you do just that.
Well, one final comment on my side is this platform also has limited benchmarking in it. They claim that they've got anonymized data from a couple of thousand businesses in 5 industries. That's still pretty thin. We have dealt with other benchmarking products where there wasn't enough data to be anonymized properly, but this vendor is making a lot of progress when you consider starting in 2018 where they are now 6 years later. That's very impressive progress. Again, many of you use native reports inside your accounting software system and you're struggling getting these reports done in Excel or Google Sheets. We'd really like to have the right type of reporting tool to automate the information for your firm and your clients. And we think Syft is worth a look-see. Well, we appreciate you listening in to Brian and I on this, and we will talk with you again very soon.
Thank you for sharing your time with us. We'll be back next Saturday with a new episode of the Technology Lab from CPA Practice Advisor. Have a great week.